What's up, fam? My name is Macro, and today we're going to be going over how to make RIDDIM.
Fuck that. RIDDIM.
As you guys heard from the intro, that is what I'm going to be showing you how to make today. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I'm so glad you were able to find this video. Here on the channel, I do a lot of different remakes and tutorials to show you guys how to make sounds just like the big DJs and producers out there. I try to do my best to make these easy to follow, and I hope that you guys learn a lot of new things from it too. Before we get into the tutorial, I'm just going to show you a little clip. This is from one of Dr. Ozzy's live streams, which I was waiting for in the chat, and then he finally played what it is that I made for you guys. He listened to it and he liked it, and I just started screaming. I was like, yeah!
Hey, I remember this picture. This handsome boy. I totally forgot. Look how fucking good looking this guy is. What? His hair is just flawless, and his side profile, good looking dude.
Fuck that.
Okay, I like it, and it's eighth note, but there's a bunch of shit happening, so...
Fuck that. RIDDIM.
I love that. I like that part. I think that part could be the drop rather than yo's. Yeah, the phrase 2 of this drop is a lot cooler than the phrase 1.
So yeah, that's what we're going to be going over today. Today's video has the Ableton project file for you guys to download, and also the Serum patch as well, so that way you guys can fiddle around with it. If you end up liking the video, make sure that you subscribe and that you turn the notification bell on too, so that way you know when I upload new videos. And I'm going to try something new in the videos where I ask you guys a question and you leave a comment. So the question I'm going to be asking you guys for the video is, what is your favorite dubstep or RIDDIM artist at the moment right now? For me, it's Ravachol. And if you don't know who Ravachol is, he makes some crazy shit. So find Ravachol on SoundCloud. All right, guys, let's get straight into the tutorial. All right, guys, so here's the project file. I tried to color code things. I don't know. I was probably spastic and all over the place, but yeah, this is what it sounds like.
Fuck that. RIDDIM.
So yeah, it's really cool. I was really happy with the way it turned out. Make sure that you watch until the end, because I'm going to be going over this guy right here, which is a Serum patch that I did, so you guys will be able to use it as you like, and we'll go over that towards the end. For the beginning though, we're going to start off with samples and other stuff. So to start this off, one thing I really want to talk about when it comes to making RIDDIM or even dubstep, if you pick out samples and stuff and you find a really cool flow, it's okay to manipulate it and then add your own things on top of it. So when I started this, I found Sultan's new sample pack on Splice, and I started chopping it up. I found a really cool flow that I liked, and then I was able to start adding my own things on top of it, which is mostly this Serum patch. And honestly, that Serum patch, that bass, it adds so much to the sound, and it makes it so different, you know? So this is the samples that I used that I was able to make a flow. So it's the same thing. It sounds really, really cool. It's deep and guttural. But basically I just took the flow. It looked like this. It was a big loop. And then I started chopping it up. And then I started transposing everything. So that one's the same regular. And then this is where I started getting crazy. So we got this one going up 7 semitones. Originally it was like this. Did that to it. Kept this one the same. Bumped this up 7, 0, up 7. So basically I just came up with a flow. That's like all there is to it. And then this part right here, I really liked that it was going up and down. Like it was kind of playing a melody with the basses. And then whenever you're going to be manipulating audio, make sure that you put it into Complex Pro also. So I'll come over here to the warp modes, Complex Pro, and then the formats will be up. Just bring them all the way down. And this will help a lot when you're trying to transpose it, or if you're trying to like warp and make it longer or even shorter. I use that all of the time. After I came up with my flow, then I started adding things. So I didn't start off with this first, like these vocals. I think I added just like the kick and the snare. Those are from the Sultan sample pack also. The whole pack is like really cool, so I suggest you guys find it on Splice. Then we got percussion. So when you're making RIDDIM, I'm pretty sure you guys know this. It's kick, like a hi-hat or a percussion like ride, and then snare, and then repeat, rinse and repeat. It's RIDDIM's really simple, but the main thing lies like in the sound design and the flow. So if you can get the flow really cool and interesting, even if the drums are simple, it'll work. It'll carry the RIDDIM, whatever. So after that, I put on another perk hit for this section. So that's gonna kind of help the flow. So like as much as you find a flow that you like, you always add things to it to keep it interesting, keep the flow going, you know? That's like one thing that I've learned over the years, is keep a really cool, interesting flow. So like with this, I wanted the first hit to be different, so I transposed it 7. I think these are normal. But it's cool, because like instead of the chant that goes, hey, hey, like this was a cool little like percussion to put in there. Let me go over if any of these have racks on them. So the kick is just nothing on it. Snare, nothing's being processed. Nothing's being processed on any of these. So they're literally just the samples. If you find good, clean samples, then you don't need to add like anything to them, or you can just add like a minimal amount of things. So over here, to make it interesting, I added in these, I don't know if there's other bass loops or if they're vocals.
Fuck that. RIDDIM.
That part's so cool, the RIDDIM. But I added these vocal chants because, you know, like in a ton of tracks, there's always vocal chants. As long as it's not like the hey, like that trap hey back from like 2014, like I'm cool with using a chant. So I also want you guys to know, like, try to be, you know, unique. Add your own little flavor to it. You don't have to do like the same exact snare, same kind of kick, the same kind of like perk flow like everybody uses. Like, use different cool sounds so that way you make it your own. On this one, I didn't do anything either. For the vocal, kept that the same.
Fuck that.
All these are the same.
RIDDIM.
Okay, so like for the RIDDIM part right here,
RIDDIM.
you can see it. I just left it the same. These are different, -7. So
RIDDIM.
So this is cool. This helps add like to the next section. So like if you're trying to figure out how to sequence your stuff and arrange it, always try to put like something at the end and to like fill it into the next part, you know?
RIDDIM. RIDDIM.
Ooh, that reverb. All right, so for the sub, basically what I do, I usually use Tisoki's sample pack all the time. Like this one right here, I'm using Tisoki bass dat sub E because the track is in E, I think. And basically I just use that like on every single track that I use. It's a super clean low end. And for you guys to hear this, I hope you're listening on headphones or on speakers, so that way you guys can actually hear the sub. And always when it comes to like the low end, make sure that you sidechain it really well. So basically with sidechaining, if you don't know, it's basically what I do is I just use a compressor and I set it to sidechain mode, and then I pick what I'm going to sidechain it to. So for a low end, I usually use kick, and I make sure that I rename it so I can find it easy within this list right here. And I bring the ratio up, attack to about 10, release at 19, and I put this filter type for the EQ as a low pass, so that way it's gonna like hit everything that is below it, so that way it really hits the kick. And then I just bring this all the way down. So that's showing you that it's actually ducking. But yeah, that's gonna give you room so that way your kick actually stands out. And then I just EQ'd it to about 90 hertz, so that way only the low end is actually coming through, and it's not gonna mess with anything else that's like higher in the EQ spectrum. And that's pretty much it for all that stuff. This is the fun part. This is where you can get like real creative and add your own shit to it with your sound design. So this is a RIDDIM part. So I'll show you guys how I made it and what it sounds like. So there's a lot going on with it. I have a lot of automation going on because my name's Macro. I have to like either use macro knobs or automation, you know? I love doing that. So this is what it sounds like. Wow. Hold on, that was everything. Here's it on its own. So like the automation, you can see what it's doing. It's messing around with the control in Serum, the sync knob. We have it messing with the LFO rate, and this is like the push and pull of the sound. And then I'm also messing around with the phaser, which is in here in this effect chain. So yeah, I'm going to show you guys how all that works. I'm going to turn off everything so you guys can hear it as its own before everything else. All right, so it just kind of sounds a little drier, as you can tell. But what we're going to do is we're going to turn everything off here, so that way you guys get like a nice in-depth look at what it is that I'm doing. So usually when I start sound designing, I'll start with one wavetable, and I'll try to look for something that either has like a really cool timbre to it that sounds interesting, or something that's really simple, and then FMing it after that. So this one I think sounded real interesting to me. It's like vocally or vowely. But after I found that, then I just brought it down an octave, and I'm doing that so that way I can FM right after it, because I know I'm gonna FM to add more timbre to it. So I just set myself up like that. One other important thing is always this random knob. Make sure that you bring it all the way down so it always, the wavetable starts at a middle point again. It's not like playing in different, you know, sections. The LFOs right here, I'm pretty sure like a lot of you guys are pretty advanced and know how to do this stuff. If not, basically you can learn all of this stuff by watching companies' videos. They are kind of like live streams on Upsound. But I guess like this will be a quick refresher if you guys haven't watched it. Basically, LFO1 is going to be doing the push and pull, which is like the movement of the sound itself. LFO2 I use to make things a bit more interesting. So like this will either affect like filters or different things like the delay or maybe the phaser, like other little things. Rather than the push and pull, it helps make things a bit interesting. And usually with LFO2, I did do it here actually. So the first LFO that's doing the push and pull, I have it on a different rate than what it is on LFO2. So that way it helps give it movement between the different times it's getting played as a note, you know. LFO3, this one I always use to the master tune. So I'll set up the LFO3 with a small curve or just going like a little high, not all the way up. And then if you want to move anything, instead of going like this and just clicking, if you hold, well, I'm on Mac, so if you hold Option or Alt, then you can have it like snap to the grid whenever you move it around. So I usually do something like that. And then I'll go over here to the Matrix tab, and then I'll find LFO3, which is right here for me. And I'll switch it to Global and then Master Tuning. And then I'll make sure that it's only going to the, like this arrow to the right instead of left and right. And then just turn it up a little bit. I think it's like, I guess I had it on -1. So instead of it going up a bit, I had it going down just a little bit. But this adds like really cool variation. After I wanted it to have a little bit more attack to it, so I gave it more attack right here. So it's like sloping in a bit more. After that, I put the sub, and then I put the LFO on it. I don't know why I put the pan on this. Okay, now I remember. I put it on here like this, so it adds like some kind of like digital grain to it, or like a phasey kind of thing to it, but it's not getting sent directly out, so it's kind of adding to the sound. And then later in post-processing, we're gonna cut it anyways with like the LFO, not the LFO, the EQ, sorry. So next, this is just like the shape that pops up the wavetable when you first put in an oscillator or a wavetable. So all I did was set it to sync. So sync is a really cool mode that you can put on to add harmonics to your sound when you start bringing it like up and down. So what I did was I just put that on there, and so like you can see right here how it's moving. So that's happening with the automation that I put in, but this is how it sounds with the FM. But usually after I do that and I found something I like, then I'll go to the filter. I usually use high notch filters just to like add the like vowel-y sound to it. So I did the same thing with the LFOs, and I put them on here. Alright, so I don't want to make this too long. All my videos are super long. I want to give you guys like all the info that I can, but like I want to keep them short, and I know I'm going real long so far, so I'm gonna try and make it faster. So usually with my macros, I'll have them control little things. So right here I have it connected to the sync, so that way I can add harmonics to the sound when I want to. So you'll see this go up and down because of the automation that I put in. Oh, you know what? Maybe it's not going because I have it stopped. So we're gonna re-enable. There you go. See, now you can see it. There we go. All right, so afterwards, effects. So let's get into this real quick. Hyperdimension. So this is going to give it a little bit of stereo width. Distortion. So this is going to bring up a little bit in like the high end, distort it a little bit. And then we got chorus. So you can hear how it's starting to change the sound. And then I have an EQ here that's getting automated by the LFO. And then for a filter, I used the reverb filter, and I didn't want the mix all the way up because I only wanted it to have like a little taste of the reverb filter, you know? After that, I got the delay on there, and then I'm doing this, and this is like a big thing I think in RIDDIM sounds that make it a bit metallic. If you bring up the ratio to like these lower fraction amounts, and then for me, I like to use the ping pong setting and keep the feedback up, you'll get this like really nice, really short metallic delay. I think if I turn this up, you'll hear more of it. Yeah, you hear that? I just didn't want too much of it. Then we got multi-band compression. Oh, that's beautiful multi-band compression. And then we got reverb right here, and I'm automating that too. So basically, when you put your multi-band compression, or like this is another form of OTT right here, it's going to bring everything else that's below it or before it like up as well. So make sure that you understand what you're going to emphasize with it really. Matrix, we don't really need to go into that. Global, everything I kept the same. So now we're going to get into the post-processing. So this is fun. So this is what I have so far, right? I'll start from the beginning. So I got overdrive on it. So I forgot if overdrive is like a saturator or not, but if you just type in overdrive up here on the search bar, you'll find it in all results. After that, I did EQ with mid-side. So if you haven't watched my last video, it's how to layer dubstep basses. If you want to learn a lot more about mid-side EQ, go ahead and watch that video because I talk about it a lot. But yeah, that should help you if you don't know what it is. So what I did was do mid-side EQ, cut out some harsh frequencies and the low end, and then for the sides I just bumped up the top end really, and then made sure that the mids are just going through mono. So after that I got a phaser to add more like dynamic or timbre to it. But you can see that I'm also automating the dry wet, so I'm emphasizing when I want it to be there. And then after that, we have a VR fat rack. This is the 4.0 version. So this is where the sound really starts to change a lot. And like Dr. Ozzy said, he really liked this part the most because this flow, which is like super weird and random, it's actually going with this like top flow layer that I have. So what I can say is that if you get creative with your automations, you can like add so much more to the flow. Like that's so important when it comes like to this, like make it interesting, make it fun, like surprise the listener, you know. Automation I said that's so funny, sound like AutoNation, like Honda AutoNation, if you've ever heard that on the fucking TV commercials. So automation is gonna like be your best friend when it comes to it. It's gets a bit meticulous, and like I got all the time in the world to do it, I'm cool with it, but like if you're not, like try to like sit down and really take the time to do it, because the more time you invest in it without like losing focus or interest in it, the more interesting it's going to sound, and you're going to be like so happy to know like you took the time to make this and it sounds really, really cool. So like that's like one of the biggest things that I can ever like tell you guys or like try to teach you guys, you know. Oh yeah, look. So this is what this is what they were before I actually started manipulating them, so you guys can hear them. Oh, sorry. That was actually another idea that I had. Oh God, that's really funny. Well, here you go, guys. You can listen to what the other idea I had. So yeah, that's pretty funny. I forgot that I had that in there. But I just want to say thank you guys so much for watching. Like from the time I'm recording this video, almost at 1,000 subs, which is amazing. Like I'm really happy that I'm able to help you guys so much. I get a ton of messages from you guys and thanks and stuff. I'm trying to do my best to make the videos look a bit better, sound a bit better. But before you guys go, I have one more question left. It's going to be on whether you guys want to see a tutorial on more Kismet on one of his tracks, because Kid's like super young, really cool, and makes crazy stuff. Second option would be Effin. That would be Effin's track called Cabbage, which I really like. I want to like recreate it and see how close I can get, and then show you guys how to make stuff like him. I met him too, super cool dude at the Excellent Sound Studio, like smart guy from Icon, awesome. Or number 3, if you guys have other recommendations, as usual, leave them in the comments. If you like somebody else's comment a lot as like a recommendation, make sure that you either like heart it or like it, so that way I can see it. And if a lot of you guys end up doing that, then I'll go ahead and go with that recommendation. So yeah, but other than that, thank you guys so much. We're gonna be like at 1,000 subscribers soon, so yeah, until the next video, bye.